This fellow is misbegotten, as well as I. What's your name, sir? Name? Egad, I have forgot it. Oh, Martin. Where were you born? In St. Martin's Parish. What was your father? St. Martin's Parish. Then, friend, good night. I hope not. You may depend upon it. Upon what? That you're very impudent. That you're very handsome. That you're a footman. That you're an angel. I shall be rude. So shall I. Let go my hand. Give me a kiss. Hello guys, welcome back to Unique Arts. I'm Costco Picasso. You can also call me Shannon, you can call me Loser, you can call me Awesome. Anything but Daddy, really. Only my kids are allowed to call me that. But either way, today I'm just going to talk pretty briefly about the Beaux Stratagem. So the Beaux Stratagem as a play was written in 1707 by George Farquhar. Farquhar was born in 1677 in Londonderry, so Ireland, essentially. In fact, I read this from a collection of great Irish plays, but he lived in the United Kingdom. He was an actor a bit, I believe, in Dublin, and then he became a playwright. He died pretty young. He died in his 30th year. I'm not quite sure he had turned 30 yet, so he may have passed away at 29. But he died very young, and this was his last play. This was the last play he wrote before he died. So actually, he didn't really get to tweak it as he might have normally. In fact, that like the epilogue for the play is essentially asking for their understanding, asking for the audience's understanding. Like if there's imperfections, it's because he's dying essentially, and he died shortly after. But it's a comedy in 5 acts, so pretty straightforward. It's part of the Restoration period. It's over 300 years old again. It came out in 1707. It's one of his two more famous plays that are still kind of in some repertoires today. It's not the most common, of course. In fact, lots of these older plays you'll find get perhaps a rendition of them will be uploaded on YouTube. I couldn't find one. I could find a couple like scenes or highlights, like pretty much advertising some theaters that were performing it. But regardless, it's entertaining though, and like a lot of Restoration theater, and you have to be a little lenient with me as well because theater's not my main avenue. I enjoy it, but I'm going to try to do a bit more on this channel, but it's not like my main expertise. But everyone pretty much gets what they want. There's only really one character that gets scorned. And so to give you an idea, most of the characters in this story, besides just supporting characters, are rogues. So you get the main two characters really are Archer and Aimwell. Aimwell, his brother has the estate and he doesn't. And so him and Archer go around trying to woo women and scam. They're essentially highwaymen, but a bit more of the professional sort, to try to get their fortune. It sounds like he had blown like 10,000 pounds over the course of I don't remember how long, but at the beginning of the play they have about 200 pounds left, which is still pretty good in 1707. And Litchfield is the name of the town they're in. I'm not sure actually if that's a real place. I haven't looked it up if I'm being honest. But they're supposedly from London, and they are. And then the other band of rogues are actual just highwaymen, Bagshot, and well, to be honest, they're not super important until the end. But their general, who isn't the one out actually doing the robbing, is Boniface, and he's the innkeeper. And he's a funny character. He's really interesting. I like him. And his daughter, Cherry, is also a nice character. Archer actually has two love interests, Cherry and Mrs. Sullen. And he gets one of them, Mrs. Sullen, to spoilers. Cherry's really the only one that I feel like doesn't really get what she wants by the end of it. Because Aimwell gets what he wants, and he also gets married. He gets one of his love interests. And then Archer gets Mrs. Sullen, and then Mrs. Sullen gets divorced, and Archer, because she doesn't like Mr. Sullen, the unhappy couple gets divorced. So pretty much everyone ends up being happy. Like literally nobody dies, even when there's the conflict at the end with the other rogues trying to rob her Lady Bountiful. But everyone gets what they want except Cherry, really, because that's the other love interest of Archer. And she, despite not having an estate, like not being a lady, she has a lot of money too, just like Mrs. Sullen, because her dad is a highwayman, essentially. And so they have, over the course of the years, they've acquired quite the fortune, essentially, from robbing people. But either way, really entertaining, if I'm going to be honest. In some regards, I think that, uh, you know, lots of the best stories are ones who are when the writers actually can relate to it based off real life experiences. And at least with the unhappy couple, Mr. Farquhar himself, the playwright, was unhappily married because he married a widow who had like two daughters, and she apparently beguiled him into thinking she had a fortune, so he married her, and she was like broke pretty much. So it just he was already destitute. That's why he was kind of trying to do that, and then he remained destitute until the day he died, pretty much. So very unfortunate. But at least in the play, the couple isn't as miserable as them because they get released from their bondage. If anyone does know of a rendition of it that can be found somewhere online, I would appreciate it because I would like to watch it. Obviously, it's different than just reading, because theater is a relatively unique art form where it's heavily literary focused, but obviously you have actors on the stage and you get the environments and the sets, and it's pretty much film, like a precursor to film. But now that we actually have film, uh, perhaps they're the two most similar, but at the same time they're still very different and unique experiences. And that's something I would like to go to theater performances more frequently. The last one I went to was a ballet performance in Salt Lake, and that was a couple years ago now, actually. But either way, hopefully that was at least a little helpful to give you an idea about the play itself. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Thanks.